All right, good afternoon. It's not morning anymore. Apologies for a little bit of a later video. Life at home with a newborn has been very fun, but has been very difficult for DFS. So I appreciate everyone's patience with waiting for us to get this content out. So for today's race, we have a 1.5 mile intermediate style track at Texas. We have raced four times here in the next gen era. For whatever reason, Texas has seemed to be relatively a chaotic race. Over the four races here, we've seen 10 plus cautions in all of them. We have 267 laps today, which will be a 400-mile race. So, as always, we are going to look at practice and qualifying. I think you can look at previous tracks, but knowing, that there's been some chaos in these races, maybe we want to be a little bit more on some of the place differential plays than we typically are. But regardless, your main idea is really just to build around those lap leaders today. So when we get to the driver by driver breakdown, we got Hamlin, Reddick, Larson, Blaney, and Bell up here. Uh, like usual, with most of the expensive plays when you get on DraftKings, you're gonna like a lot of these guys. Hamlin was really quick. He was second to Byron in practice. If we look at the 5 and 10 lap averages, the tire compound that we are using today, Hamlin is the best on that tire compound. He's expensive, but for good reason. He projects really well. Should contend to be a lap leader today. Tyler Reddick has been extremely fast everywhere. Just seems like he continues to win. Like he's won like 5 out of the 10 races or something like that. So like half of them. And his Texas numbers are strong too. He has won here in the next gen era. He was fastest in the 25 and 25 lap averages in practice. So there's a lot of metrics that say, hey, Tyler Reddick's going to be a good play today. Larson was really good at Kansas, which was really encouraging to see. I know we were a little hesitant on Hendrick and just the Chevys in general as they adapt to this new body style, but them running well at Kansas gives us confidence today that Larson should run well at Texas. And if we look at his Texas history, he is the most laps led here over the four next gen races. He gives us some place differential upside as well. Now, Blaney is kind of the outlier. He starts deep in the field, so he's going to give us the most place differential upside of anyone priced up this much. But his track history is pretty good, and he's finished top five in half of the Texas races. Practice times were okay, but they were a lot better than 31st, so just kind of a bad qualifying effort there. So he might not lead laps today, so if you are playing him, you're likely sacrificing a lap leader. But if you can nail that main dominator and Blaney can, give you 20 plus place differential points and like a top 10 finish, that's going to be a really good day for Ryan Blaney. Um, Bell's probably the one guy I'm just getting to the least out of these guys up here. The main reason being his Texas numbers just aren't as strong as those priced around him. He was also slower in practice than most of the guys priced up here. However, if we do look at 1.5s as of late, he has been very, very fast. So maybe the slower practice times and where starting position kind of keeps players off of him. So I like him for kind of a GPP, maybe a relatively lower owned play with some decent upside. Byron has struggled a little bit as of late, but I am really encouraged with what I've seen this weekend. He was fastest in the 5 and 10 lap averages in practice. Gives us some place differential upside, relatively affordable. In the four Texas races here, he has won once, two top fives and three top tens with a series best average finish of sixth. So there's a lot of metrics that say, hey, this will be the weekend that Byron turns it around. I think Elliott's a nice pivot play off of Byron. You probably will get Elliott at less ownership. I just prefer Byron just because Elliott does have a win here, just like Byron does, so they're similar in that regard. But if we look at practice in track history, Byron is going to outrank Elliott in both of those categories. Um, Joey Logano starts 23rd. The Fords, specifically Penske, has been kind of hit or miss on the 1.5s, which is always a concern. However, I really like Logano as a nice pivot option off of Blaney, or you could even pair him with Blaney. I think he'll be less owned. He's cheaper. Both of them had really similar practice times. Logano has a win here. And just like Ryan Blaney, he's finished top five in half of the Texas races with an 8.8 average finish. So even if he has a somewhat below average day, starting 23rd, if he can get a 10th, 12th place finish or something like that, not a bad DFS play for you. Chase Briscoe's kind of in the same boat for me as Christopher Bell. But Briscoe did have a really good long run car in practice. So if we do get some long runs today, I really like Briscoe to march his way forward. He's kind of another one of those GPP contrarian lap leaders. We know everyone's going to play the Hamlins, the Reddicks, the Larsons. I think you can get Bell and Briscoe for less ownership, and they still have lap leading upside. So kind of a GPP play there. Um, Gibbs is just someone I'm not really getting to. They just looked off in practice. They did turn it around in qualifying, which was encouraging to see, but the speed in practice is definitely a concern. If you also look at his Texas track history, it is not that good. Carson Hocevar just can't seem to lose right now. He won Talladega. Really cool to see that. Really cool celebration. I will definitely be ordering that diecast. And then he turned it around in the same paint scheme and won the truck race at Texas earlier this weekend. And then now he earns the pole again for Texas. He was on the pole last year as well. So everything is in Hocevar's favor right now. However, when it comes to DFS, I just have a hard time envisioning him being a primary lap leader with like the Hamlins, the Reddicks, the Larsons, some of the other JGR cars, relatively right behind him. I just have a hard time seeing Spire holding on to that. Bubba Wallace crashed in practice, so therefore he was not able to take a qualifying time. He starts in the very back of the field. In four Texas races, he's finished in the top 10 twice. So he offers a lot of good place differential upside. Butcher, I think you can throw him in with the Bells and the Briscoes. Another guy that probably won't get that much ownership, but is kind of a good GPP contrarian lap leader. Very fast in practice. He was actually P1 in the 15 lap average and then top five across the rest of them. He also has good track position. This track history here isn't great, but he definitely has a good car this weekend. Keselowski's in the same equipment as Busher and starts, 22 spots further back. So Brad always seems to struggle in qualifying, but seems to move his way forward as the race goes on. Really like the place differential upside you get from Keselowski, and I think he's also a nice pivot play off of Ryan Blaney. Similar upside in my opinion, and you're getting him for much cheaper. Uh, Chastain, it's hard to say what to do with Chastain. His Texas history is strong. He has an average finish of 12th with two top fives in four races here. But for whatever reason, Trackhouse is just struggling as of late. He was really, really bad at Kansas, which is a really big concern. Now, he does look a little bit better in practice, so I'll still have some ownership to Chastain, but, not nearly as much as we typically do. Um, Ryan Preece starts right in the middle of the field. He usually gets better finishes and gains spots as the race goes on. So again, not really a target play for me, but someone that I definitely want to get ownership to. I'm not getting the Alex Bowman. He's DNF'd in half of the Texas races, starting ninth. I just don't really see him advancing his position that many spots, and I see him losing spots. Cindric has surprised me a little bit with how well he's been running on the 1.5s of this year, which is encouraging, but starting 13th is kind of tough. His average finish at Texas is 23rd, so that's not really great. Um, Suarez, again, starts on the front row with his teammate Carson Hocevar, so front row for Spire, pretty cool. I would prefer Hocevar over the two of them if you are playing one, but Daniel Suarez is also $1,500 cheaper. He should be one of the lowest owned plays on the slate today, but kind of the same reason with Hocevar. I just don't see this team holding on to this track position as these other good teams move their way forward. Um, Josh Berry was 15th in the 10 lap average, so that is encouraging. I think he can definitely finish top 20 today. Might not get that much ownership. I don't really see him advancing, too much further than that. But that's positive place differential points, if things go according to plan. Kyle Busch starting sixth, a really good qualifying effort. New slash returning crew chief for him this week. But just with RCR, we just don't really want to play these guys as of yet. Corey Heim, Really good in practice. Pretty much all of his practice metrics were inside the top 10. Toyota has also been just really good this year in general. Don't really know how much ownership he'll get, so I really like him a lot for tournaments. Austin Dillon is another one of those quote unquote free square plays. They had to do a engine swap and weren't really able to practice or qualify. So he starts DFL, offers good place differential upside. We know these RCR cars aren't great, but they are definitely better than last place. Um, McDowell's another lower owned tournament play. He's the one Spire car that did not, start on the front row. Um, so he gives you the most place differential upside, and he's definitely the cheapest. So again, more of a tournament option. Not really going to get to Eric Jones. Connor Zilic starts a little bit too far forward. The colleague cars haven't been that great. So there's not really a lot of things I like out of those three drivers right there. Zane Smith wasn't very good in practice, but he doesn't really need to be that great in the race. He starts 34th and he's only $5,900. So if he allows you to pay up for some of those expensive plays, you really just need him to finish the race, especially if we do get a 10 plus caution race again. If he can just survive, those accidents, finishing top 25 is very doable for Zane Smith today. Same argument for John Hunter Nemechek. However, John Hunter Nemechek was really quick in the 5 lap average. But other than that, his practice metrics weren't that great. So, more of a pure attrition, place differential type of cheap punt play. Because of where Zane Smith and John Hunter Nemechek start, I don't really want to get to Gregson or Stenhouse. Gilliland, maybe this team has just really been struggling a little bit. SVG, Trackhouse just seems to be trending in the or the wrong direction. Riley Herbst, maybe another tournament punt play. We've seen this team show speed and run much better this year than last year. Ty Dillon, doable. He's probably going to go multiple laps down, but he's only $5,000. So if you can't afford Zane Smith, if you can't afford John Hunter Nemechek, who is the punt play I would go the lowest on the slate with, it's going to be Ty Dillon. You really just need him to finish the race. And then basically where Custer and Ware start, we don't want to get to them. And then Chad Fincham, really, really slow. Good chance this team does not make the finish line just with mechanical issues or whatever it might be. So I know there's only like 3 hours until this video is really not relevant anymore. So if you did watch this video, thank you guys. I really appreciate it, and good luck today. And we'll catch you next week and try my best to get it out a little bit earlier. But certainly no promises.